Don't mind my dramatic intro too much, but as you can see in these photos, my studio space was in desperate need of a refresh. I have been working on a butcher block that I turned into a desk, but it has always been too long and not deep enough. It worked for the time being, but because I share this space with my husband, the places I can put my desk is very limited. I had been contemplating getting rid of the butcher block for a while, and so when FlexiSpot contacted me and asked if I'd be interested in one of their standing, sitting desk configurations, I jumped at the opportunity and I was able to choose a 55-inch long maple top with white legs. The size and aesthetic fits perfectly into my creative space. It is spacious, and at almost 28 inches, it is deep enough to hold all the art supplies I use on a daily basis. As you can see, the setup is a breeze. The instructions provided were easy to follow, and even though it is recommended to have a second person on hand, I was able to do it all by myself. I only needed help from my husband once the desk was put together and ready to be turned over. Honestly, the hardest part was getting the sticky tape off the drawer unit. I can be a bit technically challenged sometimes, but even connecting the motor and its parts was easy to understand and execute. And there are pre-drilled holes, so there is no confusion as to where everything needs to be attached. Alright, so let's store the cables away, turn this puppy over, and see if I did indeed do everything correctly. At its lowest setting, the desk measures 28.9 inches and it can be raised all the way up to 46.5. That is a wide range and will be able to easily accommodate everyone. Because I have this drawer unit under it, my perfect height is set to 32.5 inches. That way my chair armrests will also fit nicely underneath. It's super easy to reprogram to different heights too, if necessary. It also features a lock function in case little hands accidentally touch the buttons. It also comes with 2 USB ports, so you can easily charge your devices while you're working. Remember that built-in drawer that was so tightly taped down? Well, I finally got it open. Because it is metal, I decided to put a liner inside just to dampen the noise a little bit. It's pretty spacious and will fit things that I use most inside. As I mentioned, my space is limited, and I really wanted to see if the desk would work for me in the standing position, so I could finally use my desk easel. Once I found the perfect height, I programmed it, and now I can either sit or stand comfortably, no matter what I'm working on. Many thanks to FlexiSpot for providing me with this great desk. I am sure lots of paintings will be painted here in the future. And with that, let's put it to the test and create something. I've had this canvas laying around in my office for so long, and when I started cleaning and rearranging, I looked at it again and I finally decided that it was time for this one to be done. I have worked on canvases in the past and I have made videos of them. And so if you're interested in this type of art, you can go find it in my videos down below. This canvas went through so many different stages, and a little bit later on I will show you a little bit of the behind the scenes of how this canvas design came to be. I don't love working with acrylic paint. Partially it's because I am not used to it. I tend to squeeze out way too much paint and then I walk away and the paint dries on me. I don't have a stay wet area for the paint, so I have to cover it up. It's just not convenient for me, and for that I like working with watercolor so much better. But I do love the way I can layer with acrylic paint, and so working on this canvas over time has been a lot of fun. I like that. In the beginning you saw me working with some Neocolor 2 crayons, and I know that these are water soluble, so eventually they will probably dissolve, but it was just a way for me to get started. And then I went in with my stencil that I like so much, and after that I brought out my India ink just to put down some lines. This easel works really great. In the past, I have worked flat on the table, and while that works too to some extent, having the easel and having your work propped up like that is just so much easier to see everything. So I'm really pleased that I can either sit on the desk or I can stand up and work, and I don't have to constantly bend over my work either. So what I'm doing at the moment is just putting yet another layer on this canvas. Eventually I want to cover most of it up and then see just a few of those cutouts, if you will. But for now, I'm familiarizing myself with the mediums, with the canvas, because it is quite a bigger size than what I'm used to working on, and just working with the acrylic paints. And I'm having a lot of fun. And then I brought out my acrylic markers and put some more marks on the canvas as well. Looking at this as I am putting the voiceover over this video, I can see so many different things in this painting that I am sad I didn't have the time to really focus on it. I can see a willow tree, a meadow, a secret pathway, but I just needed to get this done. So I stuck with something very simple. I have some regular copier paper and I want to cut myself a stencil with some shapes so I can use it as a viewfinder, because what I want to do is find little areas of interest and bring those out a little bit more and cover most of the rest up again. So I'm just taking the paper, and it doesn't have to be round, doesn't have to be perfect either, but it helps me see when I can't see, if that makes sense. Because when there's a lot going on a page or on a canvas, I tend to lose focus and can't see where else I'm going. So let's do another one over here. See what I mean? Like if I look at this one down here, I can find good shapes or a good background. I think I want to mainly keep them on the smaller side. This one I feel like might be too big, but the end result is not going to look like that. It's just helping me visualize it a little bit better. Like for example, see what I mean? Like if we were to use a bigger shape and then a smaller shape, it's just, there's more, it looks more interesting to me. Or that one versus that one. Like that is up to the artist to decide what they want to highlight. And I might not be done with putting more stuff on it. I feel like I want to add a little bit more of the acrylic marker, and then we can highlight. I might even, because again I feel like there's too many of those black lines again already. Although I do want to bring in some black, so I think I want to take the stencil one more time and add, instead of the lines, cover it up with the stencil, but in black or like a dark blue. All right, why don't we do that right now? Okay. You will see me again when I start covering some stuff up. I am so glad I didn't get rid of the footage of what this canvas looked like in the beginning. I think I actually started with watercolor and I just didn't like the way it looked. So I know that there's a little bit more experimenting that needs to happen at some point. It's just, I don't like having all these canvases around the house. I don't really hang them up other than in my office. And yeah, it's just easier for me to work on paper. But yeah, that's when I started adding the stencils. I didn't like the pink stencils. And then I brought in some of my papers that I painted and glued those on. And I thought for a while that was going well. And then I brought in this round stencil, the one that I love so much. And that's, I think, when my design started to change a little bit. And so these are the many stages of what this canvas went through. I hope you enjoyed this little background info. I did not like what I had. So I covered it all up. And that's okay, because it gives it texture. It you know, just adds to the history of this painting. So you can still see where I put the applications down, and I love that. And there was just too much color on there, and that's why I wanted to cover it up. I also didn't like the shapes, so hopefully with what I have now, I can continue to work on it and maybe take it a different route. So that was Bettina from many, many months ago. Just musing and trying to figure out what to do with this canvas, and finally it is being finished. So this is what I came up with. As you can see, I did use some of those cutout shapes. I traced them onto the canvas with some more of the Neocolor 2. I kind of like that the Neocolor 2, as it gets activated with water, will give off the color and then give it kind of like a shading, and I really liked how that worked. And then the rest I'm just gonna fill in with just white. I was going to use different paint colors, but I stuck with white because I needed to get it done. So I don't know, at some point I want to spend a lot more time on these. They just take forever. I wish it would be done faster so I can move on, but I've stared at this canvas for so long now. It just needed to be done. So I just went over the, I guess, the most top layer with white, and I had to do a couple of layers of that. And then I was going to leave the edges of the painting with the color that was underneath, but then I decided to then later go in with some more color, just very muted, just to break up the white a little bit. And then the last step that I did was give those cutouts a shadow, and that was it. That's all I did with it. I really liked how it turned out, and I will hang it up in my studio and muse at it and look at it, and maybe it will give me inspiration for something else. And finally I can close this chapter. I feel accomplished now, and you know, it's one more thing that is finished that I don't trip over anymore the next time I decide to rearrange my studio. That happens quite frequently, actually. I keep moving my stuff around. It's fun. I like doing it. I remember when I was little, I would rearrange my room all the time. It would always look different. And so I think that has carried on into my adult life. Although I can't really do much with the rest of my house, I do love rearranging my art space. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. I know it is quite a bit different from what I usually do. I don't know whether I will revisit something like this in the near future. I think for now I've had my fill of acrylic paint, and I will go back to my watercolor paintings next. A huge thank you to FlexiSpot once again for providing me with this desk. I love it. And if you would like to go check it out, there's a link in the description box below the video, and you can have a look at it for yourself. They're so great, these standing desks, because we don't need to sit all the time, and it really is nice to have the option to be able to stand up. I did most of this painting standing up, so it was really, really nice to work this way. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Stay creative wherever you are in the world, and I will see you next Friday with a new upload.